Football in 2026 is no longer just a sport. It is a high-stakes commodities market. When the summer window of 2025 closed, the balance sheets of the Premier League showed a combined spend exceeding £3 billion. It was a summer defined by statement signings, moves designed to appease fan bases, satisfy shareholders, and project a sense of unstoppable momentum. But as the floodlights dim on the 2025-26 campaign, we have seen world-class talents reduced to tactical outcasts. We have seen British transfer records shattered for players who now struggle to make a matchday squad. We have seen the Bundesliga tax and the Eredivisie hype claim more victims than ever before. This isn't just a list of bad players. These are the deals that defied logic, the investments that crippled wage structures, and the tactical experiments that failed on the grandest stage of all. From the luxury benchwarmers of Manchester City to the record-breaking ghosts of Anfield, this is the definitive breakdown of the £1 billion disaster. Number 10. James Trafford, Manchester City, £31 million. We begin in East Manchester. Usually, when Pep Guardiola and Siki Begiristain identify a target, the rest of the league takes notes. But the return of James Trafford to the Etihad for £31 million from Burnley felt like a solution to a problem that didn't exist. The narrative was perfect, the academy graduate returning home to eventually succeed Ederson. However, the transition from a relegation-battling Burnley to a City side that demands perfection with the ball at your feet proved to be a bridge too far. In the opening weeks of the season, Trafford's hesitation in possession didn't just invite pressure, it conceded goals. A disastrous outing against Arsenal, where two misplaced passes led directly to goals, seemed to break the young keeper's confidence. By October, Guardiola's legendary patience had evaporated. City went back into the market for a veteran alternative, leaving Trafford as a £31 million third-choice spectator. For a club that prides itself on surgical recruitment, this was a rare and expensive friendly fire incident. Number 9. Jamie Gittens, Chelsea, £52 million. Chelsea's recruitment strategy has been a whirlwind of long-term contracts and high-potential gambles. In the summer of 2025, Jamie Gittens was the chosen one. At £52 million from Borussia Dortmund, he was supposed to be the direct, explosive solution to Chelsea's lack of width. The reality, however, has been a sobering lesson in the physicality of the English game. Gittens arrived with a highlight reel of mazy runs and spectacular goals, but the Premier League's low-block defenses have neutralized him completely. He has struggled to adapt to the lack of space compared to the transition-heavy Bundesliga. Statistically, the numbers are harrowing. 16 appearances, 0 goals, and an XG that barely registers. When a club spends over £50 million on a forward, they expect a game-changer. What Chelsea got was a project, one that is currently being outshone by academy products and veterans alike. Number 8. Jean-Claire Todibo, West Ham, £36.3 million. West Ham's transition under their new technical leadership was meant to be underpinned by the arrival of Jean-Claire Todibo. After a long-term pursuit, the Hammers finally made his move from Nice permanent for £36.3 million. Todibo arrived with the reputation of a modern, ball-playing center-back. But in the frantic, high-intensity atmosphere of a London stadium, his composure often tipped over into complacency. High-profile errors against Aston Villa and Newcastle saw him drop from the starting 11 by November. Reports of friction between the player and the coaching staff regarding defensive positioning have only soured the deal further. For a club like West Ham, £36 million is a significant portion of the budget. To have that investment sitting on the bench during a crucial mid-table scrap is nothing short of a disaster. Number 7. Xavi Simons, Tottenham, loan/£50M plus option. When Tottenham secured Xavi Simons, it was hailed as a coup. The Dutch international had been the talk of Europe, a creative spark who could play anywhere across the front line. But at Spurs, Simons has become the ultimate tweener. He is too creative to be a disciplined winger in Thomas Frank's system, and in and out of the starting lineup. The financial structure of the deal, including significant loan fees and astronomical wages, makes his lack of output even harder to swallow. With only one league assist by February, the Xavi Simons era in North London looks set to end. Number 6. Anthony Elanga, Newcastle United, £45 million. Newcastle United's recruitment in 2025 was supposed to take them to the next level. The signing of Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest for £45 million was seen as a safe, Premier League-proven move to add pace to Eddie Howe's attack. Instead, Elanga has suffered a total collapse in form. The blistering speed that made him a nightmare at Forest has been mitigated by teams sitting deeper against Newcastle. Without space to run into, Elanga has looked lost. In 19 appearances, he has failed to find the back of the net. For a club battling for European spots, a £45 million winger with 0 goals is a luxury they cannot afford. The frustration from the St. James Park faithful has been palpable, as Elanga often finds himself substituted before the 60-minute mark, having had fewer touches than the goalkeeper. Number 5. Yoane Wissa, Newcastle United, £55 million. If Elanga was a disappointment on the pitch, Yoane Wissa has been a tragedy off it. Newcastle spent £55 million to secure the Brentford forward, hoping his versatility and clinical finishing would provide the perfect foil for Alexander Isak. Wissa, however, has become the ultimate what-if. An injury sustained on international duty immediately after his signing has kept him sidelined for the vast majority of the season. At the time of this narration, he has played 0 minutes of Premier League football for the Magpies. While injuries are often down to bad luck, the optics of a £55 million signing being unavailable for an entire season, especially when the club is under intense profit and sustainability (PSR) scrutiny, is catastrophic. It has left Newcastle's squad thin and their bank account significantly lighter. Number 4. Alejandro Garnacho, Chelsea, £70 million. In a move that sent shockwaves through the Northwest, Alejandro Garnacho swapped Manchester United for Chelsea in a deal worth £70 million. It was meant to be the move that established him as a global superstar. Instead, Garnacho has become the latest victim of the Chelsea winger graveyard. Constantly rotated and forced to play in a rigid system that stifles his natural flair, the Argentine has looked a shadow of the player who once lit up Old Trafford. With just 1 goal in 15 starts, the £70 million price tag is hanging heavy around his neck. The maturity issues that were often whispered about in Manchester have reportedly resurfaced, leading to a public spat with the coaching staff over his defensive responsibilities. It is a cautionary tale of moving too soon for the wrong reasons. Number 3. Florian Wirtz, Liverpool, £116 million. Liverpool announced the signing of Florian Wirtz for a staggering £116 million. It was seen as the definitive post-Klopp statement. The German Premier League is a different beast. Wirtz has struggled immensely with the speed of play, orchestra. At Anfield, he has often been a bystander. He went 16 consecutive match weeks without a goal or an assist. For a player who cost over £100 million, that isn't just a slump. It's a crisis. Arne Slot has tried him as a 10, an 8, and even a false 9. So Patient has started to voice its frustration at a player who seems to play the game in a different time zone than his teammates. Number 2. Alexander Isak, Liverpool, £125 million. In a summer of madness, this was the peak. Liverpool shattered the British transfer record to bring Alexander Isak from Newcastle for £125 million. He was the guaranteed 20-goal-a-season striker. The stats tell a different story. 2 goals. That is the return on a £125 million investment. Isak's season has been defined by a recurring groin injury and a complete lack of service. When he has played, he has looked isolated, a world-class finisher with no one to provide the final ball. He holds the dubious honor of being the first player in Liverpool history to lose his first 4 starts for the club. When you spend £125 million, you are buying the finished product. You are buying a title winner. Instead, Liverpool bought a player who has spent more time in the treatment room than on the score sheet. It is a deal that could haunt the club's finances for years to come. Number 1. Victor Gyökeres, Arsenal, £100 million. The number one spot on our list belongs to a move that was supposed to be the final piece of the puzzle. Arsenal, after years of being one striker away from the title, finally pulled the trigger. They paid the £100 million release clause for Sporting CP's Victor Gyökeres. The hype was astronomical. The Swedish powerhouse was supposed to bully Premier League defenders just as he had in Portugal. But the step up in quality has been a vertical wall. Gyökeres has struggled with the technical demands of Mikel Arteta's system. His first touch has been heavy, his link-up play non-existent, and his finishing, the one thing he was signed for, has deserted him. He has missed more big chances than any other player in the league. Arsenal's title charge didn't just stall because of him, it collapsed. To spend £100 million on a player who is currently being kept out of the side by a converted midfielder is the definition of a transfer disaster. It is the crowning failure in a season where money was spent with reckless abandon. As we look back at this £1 billion graveyard of talent, the lesson is clear. In the modern Premier League, there is no such thing as a sure thing. The gap between the world's other leagues and the English top flight has never been wider, both financially and physically. Clubs are spending record sums on players based on data and potential, but football is still played by human beings. When the pressure of a £100 million price tag meets the unforgiving reality of a rainy Tuesday in Stoke or a high press in London, even the best can crumble. The 2025-26 season will be remembered as the year the bubble didn't just burst, but evaporated. For the clubs involved, the road to recovery will be long, expensive, and filled with the ghosts of the players who were supposed to be their saviors.